Yo, I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to come and talk about another idea that I've been having. And this is like the idea of the grass is always greener. And we've heard this a lot being in American culture. But essentially, to recap, it's the idea that we perceive other people's lives to be much better than ours. And what this really boils down to is that we believe them to be living life better than us, in whatever regard that is, right? Maybe they're more successful, have more money, and it just seems they're doing it better than us, right? And this has been hyper proliferated, hyper accelerated by social media, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, because we are seeing the best of people's lives. We're seeing their highlight reel, right? And we're seeing the highlights reel of billionaires, celebrities, musicians, athletes, whatever else. And when we're seeing this, we're constantly comparing their life to ours. That's the reason why mental health is at an all time low, anxiety is at an all time high. People are killing themselves at a rate that human history has never seen before. And it all comes from this idea that we perceive ourselves to not be as good at living this life as other people. And we constantly think to ourselves, why are they able to do it, but I can't? How are they able to get there, but I can't? And then it becomes this crazy feedback loop because we're seeing their daily lives. And never before, at any point in history, have we been able to see that, right? For all of human history, kings, the most successful merchants, the most popular aristocrats, they've always lived a separate life to us. And their lives have always been separated by our lives. And it kind of goes back to this ignorance is bliss type thing. But even with that example, right, of the so unquote highers and lowers of society, we all are going through very different things. For example, let's say you are an actor and you are a struggling actor, and the only roles you can get are, you know what I'm saying, like Home Depot commercials or things that aren't really that glamorous. And you go on your Instagram reels and you see that Timothy Chalamet just signed a contract for $50 million, right? Or you see that this actor just signed a 3-part movie deal, something crazy, something that you always dream about. And you think to yourself, damn, they have it better. The grass is greener where they are. But maybe their parents aren't in their lives. Maybe they don't have friends. Maybe they have such severe anxiety that when they wake up in the morning, they don't want to leave their bed. Maybe that's their reality. And maybe they're looking at your life being like, dang, that person has it good. Let's do another example. Let's say you are trying to get into business and you have a small business that you've been doing and it makes $10,000 a month. And at first, you're really happy with that. You're like, hey, I'm making $10,000 a month through this business. That's fantastic. And then you go on Twitter and you see that Nvidia is making $1 billion a day. $1 billion of revenue a day. And you think to yourself, dang, I'm not good at business. How were they able to get to that point? And I'm here only making 10K a month when they're doing $1 billion a day. And you think to yourself, I wish I was in that position. I wish I was Jensen Huang. I wish I was a Zuckerberg. I wish I was a Bezos, whatever else. But maybe, right, they are constantly stressed in their life. They have so much pressure on them that they can't even enjoy the life that they've been given. Maybe that's the case for them. And maybe all they wish for is to go back to the point when they were just building the company from square one, or they didn't have the entire world watching them. Maybe they dream to be in your position. And all of this is to say that, yes, we might be seeing the highlights of other people's lives, and we might long for that and dream for that. But what it really comes down to, what it really simplifies down to, it isn't about them. It isn't about what they're doing, what they're achieving, where they're going. It's simply about that we aren't satisfied with our lives. Because if we were all satisfied with our lives, we wouldn't be comparing, contrasting, doing this, oh, they have this, I have this type of game. If we were 100% satisfied with our lives, we would never do the grass is greener, ever. So, how do we get to that point? And the way we get to that point is by having such deep conviction, deep passion in whatever we are doing. And if you have deep passion and conviction about what you're doing, and what you're doing gives you purpose and energy, and it excites you, you've won. That's it. No need to compare yourself, whatever. And what I want to tell you guys, what I want to tell you, my friends, is that it's never going to get easier. It's never going to get easier. And I'll give you an example right now. Let's say you're a musician and you have 1,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. And then you go look at Moneybagg Yo, right? Or you look at YG, or you look at, think of someone, Noah Khan. And you're like, dang, they have millions of monthly listeners. I wish I could be in their position. Let's go to them. Let's say you're Noah Khan now, and you have 3 million monthly listeners, whatever it is. Now you're looking at Post Malone, Ed Sheeran, Drake, and you're like, dang, I have 3 million listeners, but that's not anything. These guys are doing 100 million listeners a month. They are really successful. I'm a nobody. The game never stops. The game never stops. Someone will always have it better than you, quote unquote. Someone will always have a more aesthetic life. Someone will always be closer to your dream than you are to your life. And all this is to say is that it never ends. It's a recurring cycle that gets worse and worse and worse. And that brings me back to what I was saying a little bit ago. You need to fully love your life. You need to have such a deep conviction into whatever you're doing that it's okay. That it doesn't matter about the numbers or the goals or anything else, because that's all superficial. The only question in your life that really matters, the only thing that should concern you is whether or not you're living your purpose, whether or not you're living your theme, whether or not you're living your passions. And if you are, and you're pursuing it, and you're giving it everything you got, that's it. That's it. You've won. You've done it. That's it. That's the only thing that you should concern yourself about. When you wake up in the morning, your first couple thoughts should be, how am I going to live my dreams, my passions today? And then when you go to sleep at night, you need to ask yourself, did I do a good job of that? Did I do a good job of working towards my dreams, actualizing on my dreams, fulfilling my dreams? And if you did, fantastic. Congratulations, you're winning the game. That's all that matters. And it doesn't matter how, quote unquote, successful or unsuccessful you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. It doesn't matter what your growth trajectory is looking like. All that matters is, are you living your dreams? And if you are, that's it. And you can sleep soundly. You can be on your deathbed at 80 years old knowing that you played the game right. Because that's all there is to it. Because at the end of the day, that's the only thing we have control over. The only thing we have control over is whether or not we are actually pursuing what we want to pursue. The numbers, theatrics, status, whatever else, what the hell, man? It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Let go of this perception that we're competing. Let go of this perception that it's us versus them. It's me versus you. Let go of all of that. The only person whose life you need to be comparing yourself to is your own. That's it. That's all I really have to say on this topic. I think it really saddens me that we live in an era where it seems like no one could be happy. You know what I'm saying? No matter how good you do for yourself, we're always being told to accelerate more, to do more? How can we optimize more? How can we get to a higher status? And what I'm telling you, my dear friends and family, is that we just have to be content. We just have to be happy with what we're doing. And that's enough. Genuinely. Right? Be proud of yourself. Love yourself. Cheer yourself on. And if you are living your dream and you're pursuing it, that's all. You've done it, man. You've freaking done it, man. That's it. That's genuinely it. It doesn't matter about anything else. If you are pursuing your dreams and giving it all you got, you have won. You are playing the game right. I don't know what else to say. But yeah, I think this is the reason why I wanted to make this video is just because it's been something that I've been struggling with. And I feel like that's how I get the majority of my video ideas. It's something that I've been thinking about, struggling, pursuing, conflicted with, and I want to just talk about it. Because what I've come to understand is that 99% of the thoughts that you or I have or anyone in the world have, it's all the same. We all want to provide for our friends and family. We all want to be physically fit. We all want to achieve our dreams. We all want to be the best version of ourselves we could be. We all want to live a fulfilling life. We're all doing the same thing. We're all living in the same ether of consciousness. So I feel like when I make these videos, maybe it'll relate to someone. I know it's related to a few of my friends, so that's always amazing to hear. But yeah, like on this concept of the grass is always greener, I've been thinking a lot about it, right? I feel like in this past year, August 2025 to August 2026, I've grown tremendously. My business is doing super well. The things in my life that I'm pursuing are going smoothly. Everything is kind of falling into place of how I wanted to fall into place. But even then, I get stuck in this loop of, oh shoot, there's someone that just raised $30 million in a Series A. There's someone that's operating and owning one of the biggest nonprofits in the world. And I'm here with my smaller nonprofit. I think about it. You think about it. We all compare and contrast. And it's natural. It's common. But we just gotta break out of it. And we gotta love ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, who gives a fuck about the numbers, the ideals, the status, or whatever? At the end of the day, if you're proud of yourself, if you're proud about what you're pursuing, if you're pursuing your passion and dreams, you know what I'm saying? We're doing it. We're doing it. And the rest will come naturally. Well, that's everything I want to say. If you got to this point of the video, I appreciate you for watching. And if you guys have any topics or subjects that you'd like me to talk about, I'm always down to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everything that I've been talking about is from here to you guys. So I'd love to hear what's in your guys' heads, and maybe I could talk about it, discuss with you, collaborate, whatever else. Well, that's it from me. Hope you guys have a good one. Bye.